Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason,
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
and we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we cannot thank you guys enough for being a part of our little virtual family as we sit out here in the middle of these woolly, wild, windy jungles. And it is hot and it is crazy. And so we would love to thank you guys for being a part of this. And we always enjoy these Shabbat readings where we are able to gather amongst our friends, able to gather amongst our family, and it's an appointed time, and it's one of these days that for those of you guys who keep the Shabbat, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's one of these things that every time that you have a Shabbat, you recharge. It is literally like having a rechargeable battery, and you stick it up in that little charging unit, and pretty soon the light turns green and you're good. By the time the Shabbat's over, you usually have your little green light on. You usually seem like you're going to be good. And so it is one of these things that this is a baraka, a blessing from the creator of the universe, that he has given us these days as appointed times that we can recharge. What other so-called religion is out there that actually gives you a full day off? This is the beauty of the Creator's way. So with that, we'd like to say hello to everybody out there, and let's us get into our first songs.
Yeah, yeah. Sea goes out, hearts decide where it lands and where it hides. We choose the soil every day, so let Torah grow our way. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep. Knock down, no birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Heal it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life long. Yahushua spoke again, a story for the crowd of men. A sower walked with seed in hand. He scattered it across the land. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep. Knock down, no birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Heal it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life long. Some seed fell where birds could eat, hearts left open to defeat. They listened, but they closed the door, and so the seed grew nevermore. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep. Knock down, no birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life long. Some seed fell on rocky place. It grew fast but had no base. When testing came, it dried away. A shallow faith can't stay. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep. Knock down, no birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life long. Some seed fell in thorny care. Worldly worries choked it there. But good ground heard and held it tight, and grew a harvest full of light. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep. Knock down, no birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life long. thorny care. Worldly worries choked it there, but good ground heard and held it tight, and grew a harvest full of light. Be good ground, let Torah roots go deep. No birds, no stones, no thorns inside. We will let the word abide. Hear it, keep it, grow it strong, and bring the harvest all life
All right, those are the Book of Khalidi. It was a great song. Let's keep on rolling.
The sea obeyed, and Yahuwah buried the oppressor. A tyrant ruled with iron breath. He chained the babies, worshipped death. But you heard cries beneath the lash, and built a road through water's crash. Yahuwah, deliverer, Kadah, storm and fire. Yahushua, redeemer, you lift us higher, 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 higher. The sea stood up like walls of glass. The people walked, the night was past. But Pharaoh chased with rage and pride, until the waters took its ride. Yahuwah, deliverer, Kadah, storm and fire. Yahushua, redeemer, you lift us higher, 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 higher. The chariots sank, the chains were gone. The people danced at break of dawn, and Torah rose like living flame as we declared your mighty name. Yahuwah, deliverer, Kadah, storm and fire. Yahushua, redeemer, you lift us higher, higher. So every pharaoh in my way must bow, and you decide the day. For sea still part at your command, and freedom walks by your strong hand. Yahuwah, deliverer, the storm and fire. Yahushua, redeemer, you lift us higher, 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 higher. You lift us higher, 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 higher. The stones were silent until Yahuwah taught them praise. I walked a road of heavy grief, no sound of joy, no sweet relief. The crowd was harsh, the sky was gray. I could not lift my voice to say, Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. And I saw stones beside the way, as if they waited for that day. And Ruach moved upon the ground, and praise became a living sound. Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. The rocks began to echo up, like thunder rolling from above. And I remembered who you are, the one who holds the highest star. Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. Now even when my voice is weak, I know creation still will speak. For every stone and every flame was made to honor your name. Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. Baruch, Baruch, Kadosh is Yahuwah. Let all the earth awake and sing, for Yahushua is King. In dust I found an ancient page, a whispered truth from former age. The ink was faint, but fire remained, and Yahoo called me by his name. Torah is light, Torah is light, Torah is flame, Torah is flame. From Shamayim it came, Yahoo is Kodesh, and I will speak Baruch his name. I read the lines of trembling awe and felt my heart return to law. Then Ruach stirred inside my chest and pulled my wandering soul to rest. Torah is light, Torah is light, Torah is flame, Torah is flame. From Shamayim it came, Yahoo is Kodesh, and I will speak Baruch his name. heard his words and stood in prayer. The tears became a river wide, and Shalom rose like morning tide. Torah is light, Torah is light, Torah is flame, Torah is flame. From Shamayim it came, Yahweh is called us, and I will speak Baruch his name. Now I will teach my sons and seed, his Torah is my daily need. For when the scroll was nearly gone, Yahweh made it strong. Torah is light, Torah is light, Torah is flame, Torah is flame. From Shamayim it came, Yahweh is called us, and I will speak Baruch his name.
All right, beautiful family. Let's lift our Creator up in prayer. Precious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Father, we thank you for all those who are gathered around this table. And Father, we thank you for your Torah. We thank you for your Son. We thank you for you. We thank you for everything you have bestowed us with, Father. The ears that we have, the eyes that we have, everything that you have built for us is good. And Father, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough for not forgetting us, for not leaving us in the cesspool of darkness, and for giving us a way out. And Father, I thank you for your Shabbats. I thank you for your appointed times. And Father, I ask that you will bless all of those who are listening to this, that you will baraka their lives and their hearts, and that their eyes are able to be opened, and that we are able to see the truth of the Torah in all that we do. Father, we thank you for everything. We ask this all in the name of Yahushua. Amen. Okay. So let us get into this, and we will begin with our Shema. Now, for those who do not know what the Shema is, the Shema means hear and obey. Now, you know, when you hear and obey, and you match that up to this religious so-called system that we are under, it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't have any kind of weight to it. Because as we are in, say, the Christian religion, right, we know that we should hear, but there's no such thing as obey. Because in just the Christian religion alone, there are no laws, there are no statutes, and there are no commands. Now, we are the family that believes that is a very dire mistake to make when it comes to the understanding of what our Creator wants and what our entire purpose is for being here. So we're not just here just to live our best life now. We're not here to just, get by with however we're getting by. We are here as a testing. This entire land and the grounds and the world that we are all in, from the moment you are born to the moment that we die, is a testing land. And as our Messiah says in the book of the Nazarene, there is no better place for this testing than right here on these lands that we are in. So the question always becomes, are we going to pass this test? Have we done what the scriptures say? Now, we always go over the Shema every Shabbat because it's something that most religious systems have never heard. They don't know that there's a different path. They don't know that there is a way of righteousness. All they know is that they can say a little prayer, do a little ditty, do a little dance, and they are going to be saved. And they can do whatever they want to do in this world, and salvation can never be snatched out of the Father's hand. Now, unfortunately, those are the conclusions that people that don't actually read scriptures come up with. Those are the conclusions that we get when these, what I call the greasy 501c3 pastors, as they sit up there and tell everybody their sins are forgiven, how much Jesus loves them, how much God loves them, and how much there is no such thing as obedience, and there's not such a path as the kingdom path. Well, for those of us who actually read our scriptures, we know that these little greasers up at the top of these people, the ones that are leading all the people astray, are lying to us. And they're either lying out of ignorance, or they're lying because they are literally lying. Because in the scriptures that we have, there is a way to salvation. There is a way to the kingdom. And the way is paved on obedience. And so this is the Shema. Hear, O Yisrael. And Yisrael is you guys. Yahuwah, our Elohim. Yahuwah is one. So let's get rid of this Trinity insanity right now, right? If Yahuwah is not one and he is two, then he's lying to us at the very beginning of the scriptures. And I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe I've ever found a single lie in scriptures anywhere that would lead me to believe that our creator was more than one. Again, that's the greasers that have told us this in the tops of these greasy preachers that will tell us all of these things, and it's not true. Continuing on, we are told that we need to love our Elohim. We need to love Yahuwah with all of our heart, with all of our being, and with all of our might. That means everything that we have. There's no wishy-washy. There's no 6 days of being a straight-up pagan. It's that every single day we are a new, renewed person in our Creator's kingdom road. And these words, which Moshe is commanding you today, shall be in your heart. And it's not just for these days back in the days. This is a relevant statement for today. So all of the words, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, shall be in our heart. We shall impress them upon our children. We'll speak of them when we sit in our house and when we walk by the way and when we lie down and when we rise up. And they shall bind them as a sign on our hand, and they shall be as frontlets between our eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Now, when we are talking about writing them is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the first 5 books of scriptures. So these are what we are supposed to have as part of our existence. We don't get up, we don't go to sleep, we don't go to work, we don't do anything unless we do it through the lens of the Torah. And that is what the covenant path is all about, is that we have changed our lives, changed our ways to be how our Creator wants us to change them, and that is part of the Shema. So all of you guys out there, Yisrael, and I'm not talking about this little group of people sitting over there in this little tiny people. These people aren't Israel. If you want to know the little people in this world who are not the people, the covenant path of Yisrael, it is not those people over there waging war upon the entire world and getting the United States in a lot of hot water. What we are, the people of Yisrael, are a covenant path people. We are, and I'll tell you how I know they are not Israel, because we have a commandment that says do not murder. When you go over to that little tiny place over there in the Middle East, they allow you to murder your babies with abortion. So right out of the gate, these people that you think are godly, that are holy, that are Kodesh, that are all of this, well, they're not. They're Torah commandment breakers. They are the same people as the pagans, as the Gentiles, as everybody else who doesn't care about the laws, the statutes, and commandments of our Creator. So they have hoaxed the entire world, and everybody in the entire world thinks that they are God's chosen people. But you know what? Yahuwah's chosen people are those who are doing the commands, the laws, and the statutes of our Creator. So congratulations to all of us out in Yisrael. Let us make sure we have the identity of who Yisrael really is, because the entire world is completely smoked. And the damage and the evil they are doing right now is insane. And you know what? They will quote scriptures. They will go, well, Abimelech says because Abimelech didn't allow us through their thing, we have to destroy Amalek. Right? That is literally what they're saying. You have the orange man that's telling you he's bringing Jesus back. Everybody that is in this military believe we are in Armageddon right now, and so they are ready to wage the most bloody war that you guys have ever seen, because they are bringing Jesus back. And you know what? We don't have any scriptures that say this. We don't have anything that says anything like this. This entire rapture, this entire madness, this entire Armageddon is straight out of their PSYOP playbook, and they are executing this to fruition. But for those of us who are awaiting the kingdom, all we can do is sit here and watch this madness go through, keep ourselves separated, keep ourselves away from it. And I know all you guys in the U.S., all you people in the U.S., I know you're not out there waging war. This isn't us. This isn't the people. This is the sold out governments that have taken hostage that land for decades and decades and decades. And now they are literally trying to play the end game book when it's not even in Scripture. So we will see where this goes. But for the rest of us and the remnant, let's keep our eyes to the prize. Let's keep our eyes on the Torah. Miss Nicole, will you say hi to our brothers and sisters, please?
All right, we have Chris with Y'all Scriptures Assembly, Christina, Sue, Joanna. Miss Church hasn't been here for a while, so she's back, so welcome back. William and Sarah, Brandy and family, Tonya, or I think it's Tonya.
Tanya or Tanya?
I don't know. Tonia. Tonya. Tanya.
It could be either or. Probably Tanya, I would guess.
Tanya Franklin.
Or if it's a dude, it's Tonya. Could be. I don't know.
I don't know.
But hey,
I always slaughter
welcome,
names.
welcome,
so
welcome.
sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry if we get the name wrong. We're in a Spanish country. Our spelling gets worse and worse every week.
Gina, Mr. Jones, Yazbat, and isn't that Yaz's daughter?
Yeah, daughter of Yah.
Yep. Robert Gilliam, Luann, Jeremy and Callan, Danny Boy, Charles, MMM Mike, Obi Lines Chris, and I have no idea how to say this name, so I'm going to slaughter this one, but it's Tros Jewel, Trosjewol.
Trust Jewel. All right, well, I think you got it. Man, I think you nailed it.
Yeah,
Good job. Okay,
Let's see, who else? One Way Torah Way, sorry.
One Way, and that's a beautiful name. What a awesome name, because you know what? We live in this sick world where everybody has a different way, but there is only one way, and it's the Torah way. And if you're in the Torah way, that's the cool kids club. Like, you can look at what the world thinks is the cool kids club, and it ain't cool at all. It's vile. So yeah, if you are in the Torah club, guys, welcome to the cool kids club.
And then one last one just popped in is Grace.
Hey, Grace.
Oh, nope, Child of Yah just came
Child of
in.
Yah. Okay, guys, for everybody
Shabbat
that's
shalom.
yeah, Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Thank you guys for being a part of this. We love you guys dearly. And we can't thank you enough for being a part of Yah's kingdom, right? The kingdom people are just incredible. So here we are going to go through the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of our Creator, the greatest things ever. You know, I feel like one of those guys that's presenting something, right? You got the guy in this corner, you got, well, in this corner, we got the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of our Creator. And in the other corner, you got the ways of Hasatan. And so as we are in these end times, as we are battling through the deceptions and the garbage and the madness, the one thing that we can always trust, that we don't have to worry about, that we don't have to wonder if somebody's running a hokey dokey hoax on us, is the laws of our Creator, the commandments. These are beauty. So we're going to go through these, and it's only going to be Eli and I, because the other boys, they're a little sick right now. And so they are recovering as we roll through this. And so let us begin with these beautiful laws, statutes, and commandments. Commandment number 1 is getting off the couch. It's not becoming a lounge lizard. It's not just being content with the current place you're in. It's that we are always out fishing for men, that we are always out working the fields, that we are always out working the kingdoms. And that is what being fruitful is about. It's about not conforming to the ways of this world and flipping on that demonic television as we watch demonic TV shows and demonic satanic stuff. It's about being fruitful in our hearts, our minds, our souls, and every little bit of it. Continue on.
Multiply. We're supposed to multiply our people. We're not supposed to just like stay like enter generations here.
Yeah, and it's, you know,
multiply people of Yah too.
Multiply the people of Yah. There's a lot to be said in this, right? We live in this world where we kill off everybody. Everybody dies, the old, the young. You kill them in the womb. We kill them before the womb. We kill them the night after. We're just in one of these cesspool worlds where, you know, we don't multiply. And if the United States hadn't had the abortions and ran that abortion worldwide, the United States would have it would have 4 or 5 times more people, right? You look at China, you look at the rest of them, you look at the actual countries that don't kill off all their kids constantly, and there's plenty of room for all of us, right? You look, you get in an airplane, you fly around, you look down, there's endless land. It never, ever stops. Continuing on, replenish the earth. If you cut it down, chop it down, do whatever, fix it, right? There's a whole thing about our worlds that we live in.
Subdue it. Have been able to fish, fowl, and every living creature. We should be the owners of the animals. The animals should not have control over us.
The herb bearing in every tree is for food. Very important to understand this. This is not talking about unclean food. This is talking about the green food that we have. And just like everything else in life, right? If you decide that you're like going to take this command and you're going to go chomp on some poison ivy, then you would probably expect to have a whole bunch of blisters all over your face and mouth and from doing things like this, right? Everything with Yah's ways is, we have to put a little bit of intelligence into it. People will run these commands and they will put all sorts of stuff in there. And it's one of these things when you say everything is to eat for food, the Christians run out there and they have their shrimp in hand and their pig in hand and they're all their disgusting food. And they're like, look, you can eat whatever you want to eat. But that's not true.
Man and woman should build their own families. They are to leave their parents' house. They were to marry, become one flesh, and start their own families.
Master sin. It is one of these things one of the greatest commandments that we ever have, and it's one of these things that every single day we need to be making sure that we are going to be mastering sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall have food for you. Anything that is clean, things like cows, chickens, any clean food, they are food for us. If they move, they are food for us. They're clean.
I almost think you said cats. I'm like, no, cats aren't clean. Cows. Yeah, so, and that's the thing, right? We put in this cling, right? Because the commandment is every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And a lot of people go, well, I'm going to eat the pig. Look, it says right there. You have to understand that pig was never considered food. Never in our dietary. In Leviticus 11, we've never been said that pig is a good thing to eat. Do not eat the blood. Guys, Satanists do this. The disgusting people do it. There's life in the blood. We have these commandments, and you have all these Satanists, especially with these, we have Epstein Fury, right? We have war of Epstein Fury. And the war in the literal Epstein files was that Epstein told Trump that if he ever gets exposed for raping and killing and torturing and consuming the babies like he did, then he needs to drop some bombs on Iran. And so we are literally in the Satanist playbook running all of this.
Walk before me and be perfect. In everything we do, we need to be perfect before Yahuwah. By keeping his Torah, we can be perfect before him.
Yes, guard Yahuwah's covenant laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Over 53 times we have this commandment that we are supposed to guard this. Now, this doesn't mean that the commands have been nailed to the tree or to the cross, right? Because you'll hear that out of every single mouth, out of every single religious system. It doesn't matter what religion you're in, they will tell you very clearly the laws of our Creator are dead.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old. This is our covenant with Yahuwah. When the males are circumcised 8 days old, you are put into the covenant with Yahuwah.
It is a physical covenant of circumcision. And it's the same circumcision that we're supposed to have for our hearts. That every single one of us, we're supposed to have our hearts circumcised. And that means that we are conforming to the ways of our Creator and not the ways of Hasatan. Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah. I will tell you this command, without this command, my kids would have been complete rebels. They're rebels as it is, but they would have been complete rebels. There's no way of stopping our kids had we not given them this moral compass of the commandments and guarding the way of Yahuwah. It's one of these things that parents, if you guys have young kids out there, this is the most important thing you could ever give them at this stage are the commandments of our Creator.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Even the world doesn't remember his name anymore, but Yahuwah is his name that should never be forgotten. We shouldn't call him Lord or God, because those are just titles. We should never forget his actual name.
Okay, and the next two I'm going to put together, keep the Passover, the Pesach, and keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Festival of Matzah. Two of these appointed times are right next to each other. Passover's one day, and then we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread that goes to the next thing. And that's one of these things that, just like Shabbat, we have commandments to keep these times. And so we are getting into this, right? We are coming into the month of Aviv very, very soon for those who are keeping it. And a lot of people have all these different calendars. And I will tell you, congratulations. I am glad you guys all have different calendars. I'm glad that everybody is attempting to find a calendar and to stick with it, because we're not all going to have the answers. We're not all going to have the exact rightness to this, but we do have a Messiah. And Messiah Yahushua will clear this up for us so that we're able to get our appointed times in line. But if you're not practicing the appointed times, why would our Creator's Son ever come and say, here's how you do this, when you didn't even care to attempt to do it to begin with?
There's one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrews. Everyone should be keeping the Torah. The Torah that we're reading here is for everyone. It's not just for one certain type of people.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah. A big command, a huge thing. Firstborn are all set apart. A lot of them for sacrifice, right? When you're dealing with animals and the firstborn of this, there's something about being the firstborn that Yahuwah has set before us that it's different, and it doesn't matter if it's beast or human. The firstborn is set apart.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah. Yahuwah is the only thing, the only person we should worship. We shouldn't bow down to any other of these false gods around here. It should only be Yahuwah.
You do not make graven images, crosses, idols, all of these things hanging on the wall. Picture of Jesus hanging on the wall, right? All of these things are pagan because, number one, more than likely Messiah wasn't a white guy. That Bordeaux guy that actually made the one satanic version of Jesus that has a little heart inside. The Catholics all use that. Guys, we don't need pictures to celebrate our Creator and His Son. We have the Torah. The Torah is how we celebrate this. When we see our, Messiah, when we see our Creator, we will see them. But we don't need to make idols. We don't need to make graven images of this, and we'll see them soon enough.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught. Just like the command from earlier, we should call him by his name. We shouldn't call him Lord or God, because that is bringing his name to naught.
Yep, very important stuff. Keep the Shabbat, the Sabbath day. It's one of these days. It's an appointed time. We have 52 a year, according to the Gregorian calendar, and every 6 days, we make it to the seventh day, and it is a life-changing day for all of us. And those of you who do not keep the Shabbat day, I would encourage you all to begin. Give it a try. See what happens in your life. See if your life is not completely turned around for the better.
Honor your parents.
Here. Oh, wait. Go ahead. Sorry.
They're the ones who raised you. You should honor them. You should obey them.
Anything more?
Want me to repeat it?
Yeah. Do it one more time, will you?
Honor your parents.
Thank you very much. All right. Do not kill. It's one of these things, an obvious thing. We deal with brothers and sisters on death row constantly, and that is the one given that you will get, is that people have ended another person's life. Usually, some of these guys are actually framed for sure, but life is important, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand. It doesn't matter who you are, what color your skin, eyes, hair. Our Creator has made every single one of you in a beautiful, intelligent fashion. There is no reason to ever hate or to kill a being of Yahuwah. It's very, very important that we understand this.
Do not break wedlock. You are breaking a future covenant you will make, and your covenant can never be made correctly if you break wedlock.
Yeah, do not steal. Basic enough, right? Do not steal. Now here's a couple things, right? The United States of America is the stealers of life, right? Imagine this, right? They just went down to Venezuela, kidnapped a guy, right? They're over there bombing this stuff. I mean, these people take every set of resources. And again, when I say the U.S., I'm not talking about my brothers. I'm not talking about you guys, right? I know not a single one of you more than likely ever voted for the Orange Man. And what we're doing is we are all hostage with a country that is out of control, doing crazy things that, unfortunately, it will all fall on the American people because of the government. But you know what? We're in the end times, so let's just keep on rolling through these end times.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor. There's no reason to attack your neighbor if he needs something. There's no need to lie about your neighbor.
Yeah, for sure. Don't cut, and it's the same thing. It goes on to the next one. Do not covet anything of your neighbors, right? This is the thing. In scriptures, the second of the greatest commandments is to love your neighbor as yourself. The very first commandment, for those who don't know it, is to love our Elohim Most High, Yahuwah, with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our soul, with all of our being, with all of our spirit. So when we are dealing with the love and the two top commands, we have two commands here that says don't make false accusations against your neighbor and don't covet anything of your neighbors. So when we are in the event of things like this, we have to be very, very careful, because our neighbors could very well be people you don't even know, right? The person who may become your brother, the person that may become your family, may not be keeping Torah right now. But we know from scriptures that when people come into the Torah walk, that they are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our family, they are everything. So we want to make sure that this is This is what we do. Continue on anyway.
Alright. Do not make an altar from a rock the tool is touched. When they were making an altar, it had to be made from like pure rocks. If something was made with human hands, like a tool touched it, it would defile the altar.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps. This was, back in the days. This is still a commandment for us today. If we had an altar, but that is there, and that's the command of it. We don't go up to it by the steps. Continuing on, if a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times. That's a big thing, right? I mean, if you go out and you steal a cow, let's say a cow is $1,000, you're going to restore this 5,000 times. So I guess that's a good thing because you're not going to get killed, right? Because I mean, if you steal something, it could just be that you get killed. So again, there's laws, statutes, and commandments for thieves, for everything, every walk of life. We have a commandment for, which is why it is foolish to say these commands are dead.
Do not lie with beasts. That is a very messed up one, and I'm not sure how to explain that one.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that this is, when you look at the Epstein-Fury war that's going on right now, they weren't just lying. They were lying. They were doing this. They were lying with beasts. They were lying with children, babies. I mean, this is the sickest time of our lives that we've ever had this stuff uncovering. And I'm going to go right back to the Torah laws for criminals. We missed that. But there are a set of laws, statutes, and commandments for criminals. You break the laws of our Creator. There's things that come to you. Okay, continuing on.
No sacrifice to other Elohim. We don't do sacrifice anymore, but if we did, they would only be to Yahuwah and not to any other false Elohim.
Yep, and that's a problem today, right? You see from the Epstein files that they literally sacrifice animals to Moloch. It's their own words. So all of these things that we're reading right here, these people embrace and they love. They drink the blood, they kill off the kids, they do all this disgusting evil. Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless or widow. This is a simple little command, but inside of this commandment, we understand that our Creator loves strangers, is there for the fatherless, and there for the widows. And a lot of us have gone through a marriage and have lost the spouse of our life. A lot of us have had to change completely over. And for those who understand that kind of a loss, it is devastating. There's nothing like a loss of your spouse, maybe a loss of your kids. I don't understand that yet. But it's one of these things that if this is, you look at books like Paul. Paul doesn't say this, right? He's like, oh, she might not even be a widow. If she hasn't done all these good deeds, if she hasn't done this, if she hasn't blah, 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 blah. Paul has an entire set of guidelines to even qualify people for widows. And when you look at Paul's writings versus the Torah, we're breaking Deuteronomy 4:2, which is do not add to and do not take away from the Torah. We're not to qualify the fatherless. We're not to qualify the widows. If you had a husband or a wife and they are dead, that is what the Torah says is the people that we're not to oppress. So don't let Paul's writings destroy your walk in the Torah.
Do not charge your brother interest. He is one of your people, and if he comes to you for a loan, do not make it even harder for him by charging him interest. Just help him out.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, you take his clothes as he owes you something, give it to him before sunset, right? A lot of times, we live in a different kind of industry, right? We live in a different kind of world. They have these payday loans, right? These satanic payday loans that will absolutely smoke you. And it's one of these things that, it reminds me of, you go down there with your little title for a $200 car and you can't pay your bills and you get stuck with these things. This is not what our Creator wants us to do. This is why we don't take loans from the enemy. This is why we don't, in the event of something like this, if you had to take somebody's clothes as collateral, at the end of the day, give it back to them.
Do not curse the ruler of your people. This is talking about when we had proper kings, people who obeyed the Torah, and we're talking about Yahuwah, not talking about the orange man.
Yeah, definitely. And the ruler of the people, you can absolutely curse Donald J. Trump. That guy is a Satanist. He's a demon. He is literally a dude in a demon suit. And I'm sorry if I offend any of you guys out there. You're free to click out of here. I know a lot of you guys support the Orange Man and think he's running some holy war, but I will tell you he's running a satanic war. Do not curse the ruler of the people. That's what we just did. Do not eat what is torn of any beast. It's one of these things that we have in a Levitical priest, in a Levitical eating guide. And these things, when you see a carcass of these things that are torn by beasts, we don't do it. But as the funny thing is, you watch Duck Dynasty, right? And it's like I don't think duck is clean food anyway. But they will stop alongside the road and they will pick up roadkill and they will take it home and eat it. And the stuff has been dead. They'll be sitting in the truck and it's like, whoa, this smells real bad. But these guys are going to fry this stuff and eat it. And so this is not a healthy thing, obviously.
No false report. Always be truthful in all your reports and everything you do. Is be truthful. Have right balances.
Yeah, do not follow the multitude of evil. Do not, so essentially, the multitude of evil, right? If you're sitting there cheering on Iran's destruction for no reason whatsoever, you're following a multitude of evil, right? When you support the orange man who has gone so crazy and is willing to do whatever it takes to hide the entire Epstein files, you have to understand that this is not what our Creator wants.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going. Or no, we're on 14.
Yeah.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor. If someone is poor and you are judging between a rich and a poor person, don't just choose the rich person because he can give you more money. Be fair in all that you do.
Yeah, bring back your animal's cattle if you find it going astray, right? Even the enemy's cattle, right? The cattle, the beasts, right? Your neighbor's dog that you can't stand, right? All of these kind of things. It's not the animal's fault, right? It's just like kids that have gone rogue. Blame the parents, right? Blame the controllers of this. But if you find an animal, that's what our Creator wants you to do: is make things right. And you will often find animals down, and they can't get back up. Just like cows, they go down, and you can't get them back up. You got to take care of them.
Help the animals of your enemy, even if you don't like the person, you have a problem with them. The animal did nothing wrong to you. They don't deserve to be hated because of their owner.
Stay away from Facebook and Twitter. Stay away from rumors and gossipers. We live in this social media world, right? It destroys the kids. It destroys your adults. It destroys your minds. Nothing is the same. I think one of the greatest follies and maybe one of the greatest things the world has ever seen is the actual internet in of itself. The greatest thing that ever gave us was, power of knowledge and understanding of what is really going out there. But it also allowed the greatest evil to ever be, doing. And, people all the time, they go, are you using AI? And you know what? It's the craziest thing, because usually the people that are like, are you using AI? Are the same people that thought the 5G cell towers were going to kill them, right? People that don't understand things, they love to fear things they don't understand. And they will sit there and go crazy over this entire thing. What people need to fear is the demons running this world. And don't even fear them, right? We're simply sitting here to watch what is going on as these demons try to launch this world into a burning cesspool. And for us, it's kind of good news, because we're getting towards the end times. It can't be too much longer before there's nothing left.
Take no bribes. Be correct. Have correct weights and measures in everything you do. Do not take bribes and let someone sway your opinion.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Same stuff, right? How many commands do we have that say to love the stranger? Continuing on, give your land rest in the 7th year. We have Jubilee years. We have all of these things that, when you are on our Creator's schedule, there's things that are great, right? Appointed times, Jubilees. If you were a slave and you hit the 7th year, right, you're going to go out free. You're going to get some stuff. You're going to get to take your wife if she was your wife coming in. There's all these great things that happen in 7s and 50s with our Creator.
Do not mention any pagan names. The only names we should be mentioning are the names of Yahoo. We shouldn't mention any of the false gods and the pagan ones. Those could be names of demons, and we could be inviting them in.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah. Again, we have appointed times. All the appointed times we have all year round as we go through it. We're just about to get into some serious appointed times, right? These are some high Shabbats coming up here very soon. For those of us who have businesses and try to run, it's hard to do these. We shut the doors and we do lose business, but we don't care, because we are following the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And it seems like the business just comes back anyway after you're done.
Do not cook your goat in its mother's milk. Something that the pagans more than likely did, where they would kill the baby and then take the milk from the mother and start cooking that, and that just sounds messed up anyways.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you. Wherever we're at, whenever the end is here, there's a very good probability that you will see some supernatural messenger that says, come with me if you want to live. And you're supposed to go with him if you want to live. So,
Do not bow down to other Elohim. The only person we should be bowing down to is Yahuwah. He is our one true Elohim. We shouldn't bow down to any of the other false mighty ones.
serve Yahuwah, right? Serve Yahuwah, right? This is a Trinity breaking commandment, right? Because those who believe that Messiah Yahushua, they call him Jesus, is the same as Elohim Most High, Yahuwah, they will sit there and they serve Jesus, right? They send their prayers to Jesus. They do all this kind of stuff when we don't have any doctrine at all that tells us anything like this.
Make no covenant with Elohim or outsiders of the land. Something that Joshua messed up when doing, and he allowed people who weren't of Yahuwah to stay in the land.
Yep. Do not, where you at? 56. Do not make or use this anointing oil on a normal person. And do not make or use the perfume on a normal person. Now, these are some Levitical concoctions of perfumes that we've been given the recipes for. I'm sure this stuff smells amazing. But the exact concoction of these we're not supposed to be doing. Continuing on.
Do not eat the fat. The fat is specifically for Yahuwah. He likes the smell of it, and it also contains a bunch of toxins that we should not be eating.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, fat is not a part of food. Fat is a toxin in an animal, and you're sitting there eating the stuff, and it's pretty nasty. Do what you say you are going to do. Our Creator wants you to be an honorable person. When you don't be deceptive, don't be a liar, don't be whatever. But these are the things that when you look at the Trinity and you have a verse that says, do what you say you're going to do, we don't have any kind of outside doctrine that tells us anything about a Trinity, right? So when our Creator says there is one, Yahuwah is one, we know for a fact that it is what he says is a fact. Continue on.
Return what is your neighbor's. If you find something of your neighbor's, you have something of theirs, give it back to them. Don't steal it.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws, right? Leviticus 11 tells us what to eat, and we're not supposed to eat the frogs and various iguanas or horses or zebras or things like this, right? We have a set of food that works very good with the human system. And when you go outside of that, then you get very, very sick. And so we have to make sure that we aren't doing what the Christians do and they've made all food cling, right? Because making all food cling came out of one of those greasy fellas that are in these nasty little churches, because there's no such thing as all food made cling unless you understand that food is not outside of Leviticus 11, right? Anything that's in Leviticus 11 as of not food, you don't eat. Continue on.
When it's time of separation, they have a certain time where they need rest, they should be separated.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. A whole set of laws, keeping clean, keeping things in. It was a big thing back in the days to stay spiritually clean so that you're able to go into the tabernacle. You're able to go into the place where you would not be able to go if you were unclean. What do you got?
Question.
What you got?
Raw for y'all says, would butter be considered fat? I don't think so, because it's mainly from cream. It's not from the fat.
But cream is fat, though, right? I mean, yeah, I don't think.
But
It's come from milk. It's not like meat fat.
it's not the fat that's around the organs and everything. So I don't believe that butter.
And if that was the case, I mean, when we were babies, we would be drinking the same kind of setup, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so we'd be breaking commandments as a infant when we're actually drinking milk, and I don't think that's correct. So, what we're talking about is the explanation here is, you know, I always have to use my mom as part of this because she is a goody two-shoe Christian, and she is very wacky. And I don't say that in a too disrespectful way, and I don't mean to, but anybody that is in a religious system, I think, are a little wacky because the way that they do that, and she will take her steak and cut all the fat off of it and save it to the very end, and then she cuts it into little pieces and eats it like a dessert, and it's just the most disgusting thing ever. And when you think about why is there fat on animals, why is there fat on humans, we're talking about an excess of weight, right? We're talking about things that aren't the healthy meats inside the system. And so, yeah, let's continue on. Eli?
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim. Another appointed time when we're supposed to be atoning for our sins, and we're supposed to afflict our being, which usually involves fast.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family, right? I mean, should we have to have these in commands? Probably. because it seems like this is a sickness. A lot of us have been abused growing up. A lot of us have had the nakedness of us uncovered by our family. A lot of us are not the same people that we should have been had we not had that kind of an experience. And so in a holy world, in a Kodesh world, when somebody, your uncle or aunts or brothers or sisters or somebody has done something like that to you, they would be killed. They would be taken outside the city gates and killed. And that's probably the best place to do, because as we keep destroying the youth, as we keep destroying the youngsters, we're only creating more problems for ourselves in the future.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife. Lord, I'm pretty sure this kind of made specifically because of Yaakov, where he married 2 sisters, and they were basically fighting all the time.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness, right? This is the time. And this is stuff that most people don't know, right? In the real world, you do not know this, but in the Torah, when your woman is cycling, this is the time that you let her rest. You do not. This is not a time for the dudes, right? This is a time to support your woman, so give her some love, give her some compassion, and in a proper time, back in the days, a woman would have a place. She would leave for 7 days as she's cycling and deal with this. So it's we've kind of fallen from this in a society with the way it is, but there is a reason for this, and your women are going to feel a lot better, right? If they actually, instead of having to jump off to work and go running 500 miles an hour when their bodies are destroyed, they're going to feel a lot better. So this is an incredible command, and it's something that the world, it's no good anymore. Nobody even knows this.
You should not sacrifice your children to Moloch. You shouldn't sacrifice your children at all, but especially not to Moloch, just like Satan has been doing recently.
Who do we sacrifice our kids to if it's not Moloch?
No one.
No one? Okay. Yeah, no, and that's the crazy thing, right? Everybody's like, well, this is weird. It's not so weird. It just came out in the Epstein files that they were all said, Hillary and everybody, they're sacrificing their things to Moloch. So this is a reality of the world we're in. Do not be a sodomite, right? If you're a dude in high heels and a dress, change your ways. This is filthy. This is not the way the world is, right? This is a mental illness. This is not something that is normal. If you're a chick and you feel manly, let's not do that, right? Let's keep chicks, dudes, and let's keep that separation of testosterone and estrogen at a different level.
Be Kodesh, holy. By keeping the Torah here, by loving Yahuwah, we can be holy.
Yep. Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. This is completely talking about leaving stuff in the fields for the homeless, for the people that are hungry, for the people cruising by that don't have food, right? You're supposed to be, as a farmer, a feeder of the poor and broken. And that's just the way it is. It's a great thing.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. Have correct weights and measures in everything you do. Don't rip people off.
Do not lie or be a liar. So things of this nature. When we look at these scriptures, we know our Creator doesn't want us to lie and to be a liar. Now, in the event that you believe that the Trinity is legitimate, then you have fallen into thinking that the Creator of the universe is a liar. Because we just read the Shema that says Yahuwah is one. So if Yahuwah is two, and he tells us not to lie or be a liar, and he broke his own command, can you imagine these scriptures would be not? These scriptures would be null, and they wouldn't be anything to us. The reason that scriptures are legitimate is because they are legitimate, right? We don't have other stuff that tells us anything different. So scriptures tell the truth. Scriptures define scriptures. And it doesn't matter where you get it. When the people tell you that there's a Trinity, just understand they've never read their Bible, and they will probably never read their Bible. And then that's very unfortunate.
Pay your workers for the day's wage that are due. If you have a worker working for you, give him his rightful pay. Don't try and rip him off.
Do not harm the disabled. Now, should we even have to discuss this? Has this been a problem in the world that we live in too? That we decide we want to kick the wheel off a guy in a wheelchair. There's a dude on crutches, and we want to knock that crutch out and see if we can get this guy on the road. Right? There were obviously some sort of horrible things that were happening in this time that we had a law that says do not harm the disabled. Now, in this same event, this is why the Christian religion is very dangerous. Because when you have no laws, statutes, or commandments, then things like this, okay, we got the disabled, we can hurt him just a little bit. It really doesn't matter. We don't realize that our Creator is very upset about things of this nature. And if you're disabled, you already got a problem in life, right? You already have some things that the normal people that are not disabled don't have. And so here we are back to this. Let's nail all the laws to the cross and let's go beat up the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor. Don't chop a giant tree down next to his house. Don't put him in harm's way for any reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things, right? Back to the neighbor stuff. We love our neighbors. Do not hate your brother. Now, this is an interesting commandment, right? Eli, is this, are we talking about your brothers, or are we talking about some dude on the street that we like and we call him a brother? What are we talking about? Both. Okay, so if we do not hate our brother, how does this work how does this work? What does this mean exactly?
Love him, help him out when he needs stuff.
And if we inciting violence in our brotherhood, do you think that's good? Is this the commands? No, nothing like that, right? We have a lot of interesting things, and I guess the other brothers aren't here, but for those of you guys who grew up with brothers and sisters, I salute you. You guys have done it. I don't know how you have done it. I was an only child, and I don't understand the abilities to beat each other up like you do, but the one commandment we talk about a lot is loving our neighbor and not hating our brother. And so I'd like to just get this on the record. Continue on.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin. If you see your neighbor doing something wrong, if he's doing something against the Torah, rebuke him and tell him what he's doing wrong.
Now, is your neighbor your brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, so brothers are neighbors as well. So in the event that we're supposed to tell our brothers they're doing something wrong, does that go well? He wants to come on this one. Okay, continuing on. Where are we at?
Love your neighbor.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Now, the question I have for you, Eli, are your brothers your neighbors?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Do you love your neighbor?
Do you love your neighbors?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Oh.
good. Oh, it's so good. I love to be able to put Eli on the spot right here. If the other two were out here, it was all going to go downhill for sure. Okay, continue on.
Do not diverse your cattle. If you have multiple types of cattle, don't put them all together. Don't mix them up somehow. Don't let them breed.
Brahmas and Holsteins, right? Keep them together. Keep them apart from that. Do not mingle your seed. Don't take a whole bunch of the seed and throw it out in the field. Don't take tomatoes and watermelon and corn and hold them all together and throw them out in the field. They do that over in Japan quite frequently, and I can't remember what kind of garden it's called. It's called like a Genesis garden or something like that. And all that stuff comes up. But it takes from the power of what the ground is supposed to be when you have all these different kinds of things. And so, again, great things to know. And for those who, think the laws are on the cross, we just keep going worse and worse and worse because we'll be out there mingling our seed as we knock the wheelchair wheel off our disabled friends.
Do not mingle linen and wool. When you put those two together, they have vibration that's very harmful to your body.
Yeah, wool is one side of frequency, and linen is a completely different frequency. In of themselves, they are amazing, incredible, healing frequencies. But if you intermix the linen together, and I'm not talking about putting a wool overcoat on top of a linen shirt. I'm talking about intermingling the actual fabrics together, and you create something that's just crazy. That being said, I don't know so much that I'd have wool and linen sitting around because I'd probably be able to sketch out of that as well. Okay, do not lie with a taken woman. Don't commit adultery. Don't be like the rest of the world. This is a filthy, foul world, and this is one of these things that this is a death mistake, right? You do this, you and the woman are going to die. That's the way it is. It's so serious. And it's last week we talked about divorce, and it's like being somebody mentioned, I think Rick said it was the unforgivable sin. It's not the unforgivable sin. It's that you can't go back to your spouse if they were involved in something like that. It's game over. The marriage is game over. So what you're doing is when you're lying with a taken woman, you're destroying her and her husband and their kids if they have kids. You're doing a whole bunch of horrible things. You're wrecking families, and it's a mess. There's no reason to ever do this. Adultery is a very, very vile sin.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. When you first plant trees and they have fruit, you're supposed to let those fruit just fall off and let the tree reabsorb the nutrients so they can be strong.
Do not practice sorcery. Big things, right? Unless you nail the laws to the cross. Then I guess it doesn't matter. You can practice sorcery and kick the the wheels off. So this is one of these things, right? We live in a world of sorcery. And again, I hate to keep bringing up the Epstein madness, but these guys were all into sorcery, right? They worship Moloch. They have all these temples. They're all doing star alignments. These people are literally the Nimrods of old. If you're looking at same people that are doing the same wickedness of back in the day, this is the religion these guys preach and they practice. They are Satanists, and you can call them whatever name you want to call them, Freemasons, Luciferians, whatever it is, Knights Templar. They're all Satanists. They all do the same thing.
Do not round your beard to the corners of your head. So the pagans did, where they basically don't let their beard grow out. They put on like goatees or like style it somewhere. How just let it grow out or shave it all off. One of the two.
Yeah, don't design your face. Men, toughen up, man. Grow a beard. Get rid of some scruff. It doesn't matter if you can grow out a full beard or not. It's still manly. Do not cut yourself for the dead. Again, a pagan ritual, right? Everybody's cutting themselves. You saw it in the days of Elijah when he was, having all the prophets of Baal. They're all sitting there cutting themselves. That's a big thing, right? They bleed it out. And this is the occult world of Satanism, right? Where blood is part of the sex magic that they actually wield, and it is such a thing. Continue on.
Back to do not round the beard in the corner of your head.
All right.
Raw for Yah says, can you not trim it at all?
So here's the thing. Let me go over this. And for the long, I have a big bushy beard, and above my lip, my mustache drives me insane. It is for years and years and years. I trimmed it. I started trimming it, and it's like it gets in my mouth. It gets all this stuff, and I know that all I have to do is train my mustache. And that's what an old guy told me long ago. It's like you just gotta train it. When you train it, then it's not a problem. But I was trimming it for years and years and years, and it was about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 months ago that I came to the conclusion that in the kingdom to come, I wasn't going to have a little trimmer to trim my upper lip. And so I decided that, you know what, let me man up. I'm going to give this one a run. And so I decided, and, it's now in trainable mode. I suck on the hairs of my mustache all the time. But it's eventually going to go out. It's going to go around my mouth and down the side. And I think the good things are going to be happening. But here's the thing, right? When this is the commandment is about pagan style stuff, right? Shaving your beard for the dead, shaving your beard for certain things, or for this kind of stuff. I don't think trimming your beard is a big deal. But if you're designing it, if you come down and you put some lamb chops in and run it down to a goatee and run your goatee, shave off the side, decor it, do all this kind of stuff, that's what the pagans did. And, in the event that you get a big beard or you can't wear a beard, kill it or, keep it down enough, but don't design it. Don't put stuff in it that is like pagans do. That's what I get from these commandments. So hopefully that helps you guys out.
Do not get tattoos. Don't draw on your body. Keep it pure to Yahuwah.
Yep, and that's, again, pagans doing the same stuff. Do not prostitute your daughter. Well, if these laws are on the cross, this is like one of these things that, wow, I'm out there prostituting my daughter. I didn't even know. Well, here's the gig, right? We do know, because we have Torah commands. And obviously, people were out making their daughters prostitutes. So let's never go there.
Do not defile your temple. Keep it pure to Yahuwah. Keep it healthy. Try to stay fit. Don't get tattoos, things like that. Keep it pure to Yahuwah.
Don't eat trash, right? This is what I tell my kids. You eat crap, you're going to eat crap, right? If you're sitting there eating trash and defiling your temple, what goes in your body, it does come out, but it doesn't always come out, right? If you're drinking all these energy drinks and all of this stuff with red 4, red 5, yellow 6, all this... the yoga mat stuff, aspartame, all of these things, you're going to get sick, right? It's not just the United States of America, although the United States of America is probably the greatest killer of all human life, because they have allowed for the last 30, 40 years all these toxins and all these food colorings, all these additives that the rest of the world has banned. Most of the world will not allow the United States food supply into their stuff. Simply eating a bag of Skittles, you're dumbing yourself down with every single bite. Look it up. I'm not telling you anything that's not true. This is all so-called science, right? And I hate the word science, but when you actually look in legitimate science, this is killing us off. Where we at?
Yeah.
Do not consult the medium, right? Obviously, right? We have prayer. We consult the real medium, which is Yahuwah, right? He knows the past, he knows the future, he knows all of this stuff. That's our consultant. Don't do these sideshow people.
Respect your elders. They're older than you, they're wiser than you, and you should listen to them when they have something to tell you.
Have correct weights and measurements. Our Creator does not want you to defraud the people of Yah or other people, right? You get into this whole thing, and back in the day, they had two sets of measurements. They had the one set, and then they have the lighter or the heavier, and they draw it out, look at who you are. And to some level, you are ripping people off that don't need to be ripped off. Why would you do this, right? Continue on.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation. Do not walk in the manners of the nations. When the people are bad, I'm just letting this.
Spit it out, son.
When the other people aren't keeping the Torah, we shouldn't be following them. We shouldn't be listening to them. We should just be keeping the Torah and following our own people.
Yeah, when this orange man jumps into war, we don't follow this, right? We don't sit here and celebrate the destruction of other people, right? This is not in Torah. We don't have anything in the Torah. Continue on.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, and Pentecost. It's another point in time where it was a high Shabbat, and we would offer our first fruits to Yahuwah.
Keep the feast of trumpets. Keep the feast of Sukkot, the Shimini Atzeret. Again, appointed times that we have. Everybody's like, well, we don't get Christmas, we don't get Easter, we don't get Thanksgiving Day. All these, we don't want to keep these, right? This is what the pagans do. This is what is called walking in the manners of the nations. Don't fear, don't fret. We have appointed times that are full of food, full of celebration, full of memories, and full of fasting, right? Things of this nature. Don't worry. We got the same stuff as all the pagans do, except we don't worship Satan, right? We get to worship Elohim Most High.
You skipped the one about it.
No.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Surah. It is the day of blasting. It is a day of celebration to Yahuwah, where we blow our trumpets, and it is also a high Shabbat.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death. Another one of these death commandments, right? If you want to blaspheme somebody's name, right, you're not going to blaspheme the name of your mother, are you? Some people will, but I mean, are you going to use your mother's name as a curse word? Are you going to go, oh, son of a Nicole, or something of the sort, right? You're not going to do anything like that, right? You're not going to do that to your mother. You might, but I'm telling you, for the most part, we're not going to be doing this. So why would you take the Creator and start, making curse words out of it and doing various things? And continue on.
If you kill an innocent animal, you must give him another. More things about being fair. If you end up killing an innocent animal, just repay him with another one.
All right, we have a question.
All right, we also have two dogs fighting. Eli, go get the dogs.
This is raw for y'all again. What about a widow who gossips and slanders to an extent who is a grandma? Who needs help? Should we still help her or set boundaries in love? This one's seriously hard for me.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a really, really tough one. And I hate to make an answer based upon my own experience, but this is something, I may be wrong for this, but my mother does the same kind of stuff, right? I get on the phone to her and she laughs at me about Torah commands. She just will go off to the point where I have a tough time even talking to her anymore. And so I was asking my wife the other day, I'm like, am I not honoring my mother by not talking to her? And I think we came up with the conclusion that I think I'm safe. And it's not like I call and anything good happens. It's that every single time she just makes fun of Torah keeping. She just thinks that I'm just such an idiot, and there's no conversation piece. So that takes us to the question of, read that question again, will you please?
What about a widow who gossips and slanders is to an extent who is a grandma? Who needs help? Should we still help her or set boundaries in love?
Those are always those things, right? When we and this is, may Yah forgive me if I give bad advice, and guys, always meditate and pray upon all of this stuff that we're saying. In the event, this is one of these things that, when people are victims of abuse, right? They've lived a childhood of abuse and they grow up, they always have this, do I hate this guy or do I love this guy? Guy, girl, whatever it is. What do I do? And the answer that I have come to a lot of this is absolutely forgive, but you don't have to forget, right? If you are being raked under the coals, if your lives, your kids' lives, if out of Scripture, things are getting bad, you don't have to abuse yourself, right? And if whether or not it's a separation of or a less encounter, it's one of these things. We should always help the widows. We should always do the very, very best. But as far as setting ourselves up for consistent abuse, I would make sure that we pray about this and that we make sure that this is the will that Yah wants us to have. And sometimes we have to understand that, a lot of the abuse is simply testing, right? Walking this world. And it's not just going to be this old gal that's a widow that is mean and gossips and does all this stuff. This is the way of the world, and not just widows. And we have to come up with a separation of how much do we take. But if we are abusing ourselves over and over and over trying to make this commandment, we can do things differently to where we're not involved so much into this life to where it's not so much into us. So I hope that helps out there. Again, pray on all this stuff, because I don't always have the answers for it. I'll try to give you what I see in my life and how I see it, but it's not always right. I don't believe. So continue on.
The child of Yah had a good thing. Said, same here, but I love the sinner, but hate the sin.
Yeah, love the sinner, hate the sin. And again, I mean, a lot of this goes for those who have been abused, especially sexually and physically. You for your own soul, yes, you absolutely have to forgive. But as far as like bringing your own kids and sustaining the abuse, if you know that abuser's not done abusing kids, there'd be no reason to continue that cycle of violence. You get rid of them. Okay, continue on, Eli.
Repay injury for injury. Back in the day when things were right, if someone injured you, you would repay them with the same injury.
But at the same time, Messiah always defines this, right? There's incidents inside of scriptures that is if this guy put your eye out and he only had one eye to begin with, and you take his other eye out, is this the proper course of action? Is making this man completely blind, and in the course of taking an eye for an eye, we have to understand that what are we doing, right? Are we able to forgive? Are we able to understand people make mistakes? That's what we have to do. And if we're willing to make another man blind to keep this Torah command, this is where our Messiah aligns our hearts and minds to Torah. Continue on. Honor the Yobel year, right? The Jubilee year. Every 7 years, we have a 7s and 50s. We have a Jubilee year. We're to set the slaves free. Land is returned. There's a year. The problem is, we're so far out in the Gregorian calendar, I don't know if anybody would ever be able to find a Jubilee year. We tried to get the day of creation. We spent like years and years ago, trying to find the day of creation. We never could figure this out. And that's why we kind of gave up on, like saying this calendar is the right way or this calendar is the right way, because I don't think anybody's ever figured this out. If they have, I'd like to see the strategy on how to do it. Continue on.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who have trespassed against. If you have sinned against someone, repay them by however you can. Confess your sins to Yahuwah.
The Torah, the law of being a Nazir. If you want to dedicate your life to our Creator and His ways, then there's a set of rules, regulations. Don't drink from the vine. Don't cut your hair. Things of that nature.
Wear tzitzit on the four corners of your garments. There are 4 tassels you have on the corners of your garments, and they remind you of the Torah wherever you go.
Yeah, and if you guys don't wear tzitzits, I would love to encourage you guys to get some tzitzits, put them on. Again, it's one of these life-changing things. The first question you'll get is, are you a Jew? And, that's a door-opening thing. For those of us who have been down that road before, it's like we feel anxious when people are like, are you a Jew? No, we're not a Jew. We're not in that religious system. Being a Jew means you are in the same kind of religion that Christians have, right? You have gone from the ways of our Creator and you created your own way. You created your own documentation, your own rules. And that's the way it is. Judaism in of itself have hundreds, if not thousands, of laws and rules of their books, and a lot of them are kind of satanic when you look at what they allow you to do to people. And there's some stuff I can't even really discuss on YouTube that they do. Continue on. Yeah. What is it?
105.
105. The Torah, laws of whoever touches a corpse, right? That's, again, you'll be unclean. You're not going to be going in the temple when you do it. You got to wait till night, wash, and get clean.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance. There were certain laws for things like if there were only women or things like that for the firstborn. Certain laws of inheritance for each thing.
Torah, the law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah, right? If you are making your oath to Yahuwah, you better be very, very cautious in such an endeavor, because when those words come out of your mouth and you utter them, regardless of what they are, it's a big thing, right? And so we need to make sure that we are straight on all of our oaths.
Do not add or take away from the word. One of the most important ones. We should only follow the Torah, and we shouldn't add to it or take away from it.
Guard your soul. Very important, right? I will tell you, nailing the laws of our Creator to the cross is not guarding your soul. Eating whatever you want to do is not guarding your soul. Living how you want to live is not guarding your soul, right? The commands of our Creator are guarding our soul. When you conform your life to these 157 or so commands that we can keep today, that's called soul guarding. And so when we are living this Christian life or living the best life now, right? That's the opposite of soul guarding, right? You're guarding your soul in the hands of Hasatan, and Satan wants your soul. He wants it badly.
Learn to fear Yahuwah. Learn to fear Yahuwah. You do that by keeping His Torah and obeying Him and listening to Him.
Okay, and these are all kind of the same because these all come out of Deuteronomy 6. And so you're supposed to love Yahuwah with all your heart. You're supposed to bind the laws upon your hand and the frontlets of your eyes. That doesn't say nail them to the tree. You're also supposed to write the Torah laws on your doorposts. And I'm going to wrap those ones up with do not tempt Yahuwah. Because we're given 4 commands, actually 5 commands in a row. Guard your soul, learn to fear Yahuwah, love Yahuwah with all your heart, bind the laws upon your hand, the frontlets of your eyes, write the laws on your doorposts, and then do not tempt Yahuwah. Do you think that these are in a certain order for a certain reason? I think so, right? Because we are told all of these things, and if we don't do these commands, if we don't fear Yahuwah, if we don't love Him with all our heart, if we don't bind the laws on our hands and on frontlets between our eyes, then we are tempting Yahuwah. We're going to tempt Him to put us in our place. And here's the thing is Yahuwah chastens those who are His. If you see your Christians next door with the big house, fancy cars, everybody's looking good, they're living their best life now, and they have their pork shacks out there, that's because they're not being cursed by Yahuwah, because they're not Yahuwah's, right? They're Hasatans. They've already made their decisions. They've already made their ways. And most of the world, according to 2nd Esdras, will never make it. It's a drop of water compared to a wave. So if you feel alone out there in this Torah walk, it's because you are alone. But you're not really alone, because at some point we're all going to be gathered together and we're all going to be able to celebrate this obedience path, because it's going to be an amazing time. Continue on.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah. Everything that we do should be weighed by the Torah. Is this right in front of Yahuwah? And it should not be right in our own eyes, but right in front of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies. Doesn't matter where they are, who they are. Yahuwah knows who's against you. And if you are His, you are in His hands.
Remember Yahuwah. Whenever you're thinking of something, never forget Yahuwah. Yahuwah should be on your mind at all times. You should always be praying, talking to Him. Just don't forget Him.
Circumcise your heart. The same thing as physical circumcision with men. This is for everybody, men and women. This is where all of us are puffed up. All of us know the way. All of us are surely saved, right? All of us are God's children. We know this. But yet, when you look at the scriptures, are we keeping commands? Well, when we start keeping commands, the circumcision of our heart begins. When we start living how our Creator wants us to do, and how we start acting, how we start speaking like He wants us to speak, those are all signs that the Torah is coming into our life and that we are becoming a remnant group of people.
Cleave to Yahuwah. like before, we should always be thinking of Yahuwah. We should basically be one with Him by just thinking of Him at all times.
Swear by His name. When you swear, you can swear by His name, but make sure that it is an oath that you will keep. Don't make willy-nilly, and don't bring His name to naught when you're swearing. It's not like, oh, I swear to God. That's not it. Number one, His name isn't God. His name is Yahuwah, Elohim Zavot, and it is not, it's one of those things. Continue on.
Destroy graven images. Something that was mainly for the land, because nowadays, if you were to do this, you would go to jail. Try to break down a statue, they would put you in jail.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohims, right? We don't need it. Yahuwah is in every breath that we take. Every time that we wake up in the morning, He's there. Everything. We don't need an idol to know that Yahuwah is with us. We have the Torah. When you keep the Torah, when you walk the Torah, you very clearly understand that Yahuwah is with you, and we don't need an idol.
Yet rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with. Every cup of water, every breath of air, everything Yahuwah has given you. He's given you a roof above your head. He's given you a house. Everything you have is from Yahuwah, and we should rejoice with it all.
Yep. Every single day that you live and breathe is a blessing from our Creator, baraka. Do not do what is right in your own eyes, right? Once saved, always saved. The laws are dead and on the cross. Jesus is my Shabbat. He's my salvation now. Or, all of these kind of things. That's doing what's right in your own eyes. When you believe that our Messiah Yahushua gave you a sin card and you can do whatever you want to do, and you just say, Jesus, please forgive me, that's wrong, because we don't have doctrine that tells us to pray to our Messiah. We don't have doctrine of anything like this. We don't know what the Christians tell us is not what's in Scriptures. It's a lie, every bit of it.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets. If the prophet comes and tells you, let's go follow him, if they say something that doesn't happen, do not listen to them and do not follow them.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. More pagan stuff, more stuff we don't do. We separate ourselves and keep ourselves Kodesh.
You should not eat any abominable thing. Any unclean food, we should not be eating. Things like pork, shrimp, giraffe, horse, things like that. They're all abominable. We should not bring them into our bodies.
Yeah, good luck taking the draft down, too.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of trying to change that for a week.
Yeah, for those who don't know, if you've ever seen a giraffe battle, those things are awesome. They will swing their 8-foot necks around, just swinging around like a bolo or something. It's amazing. The Yah's creations are awesome. You shall give to a stranger a clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it. Right? A stranger is not going to be a law keeper. He's going to be somebody in your midst that doesn't care about the laws of our Creator. So something dies that's clean, give it to him. He can eat it. But for us, Yahuwah wants us to be Kodesh.
Give tithe your increase of seed year by year. When there were priests around, when there were temples, you would take a tenth of your seed and you would go and give it to them. Nowadays, you can probably do this by giving it to the homeless, to the poor, those who need help.
The laws of the end of the 7-year release. I wish we were all under these laws. Imagine this, guys. All your bank loans, all your house loans, all this stuff. Every 7 years, it goes away, and it all gets reset. And if you were a slave, you're out of it. If you had sold your house, you couldn't afford it, you get your house back. All of these things, right? There are some incredible laws, statutes, and commandments that our Creator has given to us that we don't do today. And these are great things. This is just a way that you don't lose your house, you don't lose your car, you don't lose all your stuff, because our Creator has set up things for you.
Do not borrow from the nations. If you need to borrow something, borrow it from one of your people. The nations will just try and rip you off, try and scam you somehow, and don't take anything that's unclean from them.
Yeah, you end up in contracts. It's not a good deal. Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor. Right? The poor, the rich, it doesn't matter. We're not supposed to look at them differently. And, a lot of people, they walk by the poor. And I've always encouraged people that here's some stuff, right? People are always looking for places that tithe. Right? Everybody's like, oh, what do I get my 10%? Because all of these greasers that are inside of these church functionalities, these preachers, the greasers, are telling people that they need to give them 10%. And you will actually have people make ledgers, and you sign up for this so-called kirke, and they will tell you owe $400. You missed 3 or 4 months on this whole thing. That is not what it is supposed to be. And so when you are hardening your heart from the poor and judging unrighteously, if you want to make a difference in a poor person's life, go buy a bag of rice and take your tithing and go buy 8 or 9 bags of rice and go find some people on the road, some homeless people, and give them a bag of rice. Their lives will change forever. They will eat a lot of food, right? A bag of rice goes a long, long, long ways. So guys, put your tithe to helping those people and you will never, ever regret it.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar. There are many appointed times. We should know when they are. We should keep his command. Keep his Torah. When?
Okay, 3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah. So again, these are back in the days of Jerusalem, back in the days when you would go before your appointed times. Nowadays, I don't know so much as I'd even go over there. The people that are keeping the lands are a bunch of Turks. These are not Yah's people. These are a bunch of baby murdering people that have abortion clinics all over the place and are running a muck across the world. But back in the day, the males were supposed to go before our Creator.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates. When we were in a holy land, you would appoint judges and officers so you could keep the land holy, you could keep it right and fair.
Do not plant Asherah poles at all, especially near the altar. Again, this is pagan stuff, right? Why anybody's doing an Asherah pole? You probably go out and kill them, right? But nowadays, there's Asherah poles everywhere. Everybody loves Nimrod and Semiramis and Tammuz. They all weep for Tammuz.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses. When you are testifying, there should be at least 2 or 3 people who testify the same thing. Otherwise, you could just have one person who goes because they hate somebody testify something, and then they stone them for that.
Yep, hearken unto the Navi, the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. Right nowadays, we don't have the kind of prophets that I believe that we had back in the days, but there's obviously a test for it. And that goes to the next one, which is the Navi prophet test of Deuteronomy, right? If you want to say you're a Navi, you're a prophet, and it doesn't come true, you die, right? And so that's the thing. You have all these people. You have this guy named Jonathan Kahn. His last name is literally Kahn, and he was out there telling all these people. This is the thing, is you have all of these so-called satanic Christian people, and they will tell you these things over and over and over. Oh, the world's ending here. Jesus is coming back here. All these other things. And it never happens, right? And nobody bats an eye. And then these guys come out there again. They're like, oh, well, this is going to happen, or the United States is this and this and this. They should all be killed, right? Everybody that makes these false prophecies should be killed. And they don't even know it. They keep making these prophecies.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line. Again, have correct weights and measures. Don't move your land so you have a little more and take away from your neighbors.
Dealing with false witnesses among Torah keepers. It's important. And, back in the day, you do false witness stuff, you could very well much die in a very bad way, because what you were trying to do unto them will be done unto you. So again, you can look at how bad this is, being a false witness and wrecking someone's reputation.
First child get double portions. In the inheritance, the first child would get double portions of that because he would be the leader who would take care of the others when they needed help.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them. I mean, that's obvious now, right? Hit it.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman. A woman shouldn't try and look like a man, and a man shouldn't try and look like a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with a mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother, right? You're continuing on the cycle of food. You're continuing on the cycle of life. You're not killing off the mother and the babies all at the same thing. It's just the beauty of the hand of our Creator.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that it'll be lived on, you must put a railing around it. Back in the day, they would have a flat plate. People would live on the roofs of other houses. So you have to put a railing up so they can't fall off when they're sleeping or when they're things like that. Do not be a prostitute. That is a very terrible sin, and it shouldn't even be in question, but do not be a prostitute. Do not use dirty money. How you get dirty money from stealing, things like that. You shouldn't be using it, even for things like command above. You should have money from being a prostitute. Do not use it. You shouldn't even have that money to begin with.
All right. 49. Sorry, guys. Here, I'm back. The Torah of divorce. One of these things, right? There is a law for divorce, but there is it's when Messiah comes down to it, Messiah gives a lot more advice when it comes to divorce. The law of divorce was given because people had hard hearts. They were unable to make things right. And I will tell you, the greatest thing that I have ever had in my life besides the Torah is my wife. I have never, my life was in the wrong direction. My life is everything that it should have been. And the only stabilizing factor that I ever had from my youth to now, and we've been together a long time, but we've been married 25, 26 years. 25, we were some great Gentiles prior to this, and so we've been together 27, 28 years or something of the sort. It's a long time. But I will tell you, she is my better half. And for those that say that, that's true. And the point of a marriage is that it will stabilize a man. For all of us men out there that, need stabilizing, that is a possibility. That being said, there can also be the wrong women. And for us men, it can be extremely destabilizing, which is why waiting on the right person completely is the right move, right? We don't need to be catting around. We don't need to be out there dating. We don't need to be testing the field, testing the buffet menu, all of this stuff, right? When our Creator sends the right person our way, it will just happen. It will just absolutely happen. It will all make sense. And so if you guys are at the edge of a divorce, and we've talked to a lot of you guys, we've tried to talk a lot of you guys out of divorce, and we thought we had a lot of you guys on the right track, and at the end it just breaks and it blows up and things of this nature. I understand it does happen. Divorce is one of these things that, when you find the right person, it is literally one flesh, two flesh made one. And it is an amazing thing. Continuing on.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge. Back in the day, when you would do a pledge, like when you take someone's stuff, don't have them put their millstone on, because that was basically their life. They would have no way to get food if it weren't for a millstone.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house. You get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge. We get two commands in there, right? Because we know that right from before that we're supposed to return people's clothing to them before sunset. But we also have this thing. You're not supposed to go manhandle your brother getting the money back. And a lot of times we're like, I'm going to kick this guy's door down and get my money back. That's not the way it is, right? Our Creator is a respecter of people and their stuff. Right? And so he doesn't want you to. There's a lot of bad things that can happen. You break into a person's house. When you have them on the fence, there could be murders. There could be death. It could be a lot of stuff. You might get murdered after you pop into somebody's house. You never know what's going to happen. So these commands are have some respect.
Do not oppress the hired servant is poor and needy. If they are poor and needy, if they have problems, there's no need to oppress it and make them harder.
Let's see, 153. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Praise Yah, right? Praise Yah. I don't have to die for my kids' craziness, and the kids definitely don't have to die for my craziness. Amazing.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field there for the stranger, fatherless, and widow. If you're cleaning out your field, if you forget something, just leave it there. Leave it for those who need it more.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out the grain. Feed your animal, right? You got a big old beefer animal in there. He's like ripping a big plow up, right? Let this guy eat a little bit of food on his way. I mean, you're not going to be able to pull the plow. You certainly ate. So again, our Creator loves his animals. He loves the right ruling of keeping things right.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother. It's the way of keeping his name alive. Back in the day, when there were multiple marriages, things like that, you would take his wife and you would keep his name alive.
You said back in the day. What does that mean?
Well, I don't think you can have two wives nowadays.
We know Torah keepers in the States that have two wives, not legally.
Yeah,
but we know it has happened, and it's not something we would encourage for anybody. It does happen, but it's not something that is a good idea. 157. At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, this is something that we do every Shabbat, right? We go through the Torah, and we go through the laws, statutes, and commandments. We do it because the savages like Ezra and Nehemiah, when those guys were back in the days, they were reading the Torah. People were weeping. People were loving it. And that is our hopes and dreams, is that we can show people that the Torah is easy to keep. There's no bondage to it. There's no ball and chain. It is something that will change your life for the better for all time. Continuing on, let us get into our reading. For everybody that's still with us out here, this was extra long, so yeah, we're in this. When I'm sitting there reading the commandments, it's on, folks. So here we are, chapter Devarim. Eli, give me a breakdown of where we're at, chapter 25.
So we're getting towards the end of Deuteronomy. We're getting towards the end of Moshe's life. It's kind of a recap and a few extra commands just before he's gone. The last chapter was talking about the Torah of divorce and how that should go. Before that was about people entering the temple. It's kind of just a quick recap before he leaves.
Okay, and yeah, Moshe, he was an absolute warrior when it came to all this stuff. So here we are, Devarim, chapter 25. When there is a dispute between men, then they shall come into judgment, and they shall be judged. And the righteous declared righteous, and the wicked declared wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked is to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and be beaten in his presence with the number of blows according to his wickedness. 40 blows he gives him, but no more, lest he beat him with many more blows than these, and your brother be degraded before your eyes. Now, this is something to probably talk about, because we live in the age of where we don't, remember when we were growing up and we all got our butts paddled, right? We all got everything reddened up. And now we live in the age of the timeout chair, right? We live in the timeout chair. Oh, this kid has just wrecked the entire kitchen. This kid has done some great evil. Let's put this kid in timeout for 5 minutes. Oh, have you learned your lesson, right? I would have never learned my lesson. I would have learned that I can go into the timeout chair as much as I want. But I learned my lesson when I got my booty spanked, and I got it spanked good. And Mom was she was not small when it came to spanking. She was a single mother, and she believed that a young lion like myself had to have a lot of spankings. Now, it's something that I am thankful for, and it's something that I am, it was a wild childhood, but this is an adult we are talking about in this situation. We are talking about how people should be punished. Now, you look at any of the prisons in the world, well, not in the world, let me just say in the United States, none of this happens, right? You do something wrong, you go to prison. You live amongst criminals. You get an education in the criminal world because they put you amongst other people who are as bad or worse than you, and you sit there as a team of people inside a prison cell and you learn. You learn criminal stuff simply by being put where it is. So at the end of the day, I think having 20 canings across your back for crimes would have been a far better endeavor than just locking people up in this world like they do. Now, you go to China and you go to Japan, if you commit murder in China and murder in Japan, they will kill you right away, right? You will be immediately go through your court, and then if you're guilty, they will just take you right outside and kill you. Here in the States, they leave you for 50 years on death row as they unconstitutionally and unconstitutionally as far as the Torah goes, for sure. Okay, continue on. 4, do not muzzle an ox while it is threshing. We just went over this, right? Again, feed the big beast. He's hungry. When brothers are together and one of them has died and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not become a stranger outside. Her husband's brother goes into her and shall take her as his wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. Now, back in the days, we had Judah's kids. Judah's kids were all, they were killed off because of this certain incident that came down like this. And in fact, we ended up with a crazy, it wasn't actually like a commandment back in the day, but we ended up with commandments because of Judah going into his son's wife, Tamar, in that incident. And so these are the kind of commands that we get out of things of this nature. 6, and it shall be that the firstborn son which she bears up for the name of his dead brother, so that his name is not blotted out of Yisrael. But if the man does not desire to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate to the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up a name to his brother in Yisrael. He does not agree to perform the duty of my husband's brother. The big deal. The elders of the city shall then call him and speak to him, and he shall stand and say, I have no desire to take her. Then his brother's wife shall come to him in the presence of the elders and remove his sandal from his foot and shall spit in his face and answer and say, thus it is done to the man who does not build up his brother's house. All right, Eli, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this little situation right here. All right, so you are a brother. Your brother died. He had the wife. You don't want her, or your wife says, I don't want you to have another wife. You're going to stand before the entire assembly. Your sandal's going to come off, and she's going to hawk one right in your face. And I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be a poo, because she has been basically jacked up in the eyes of all Yisrael. Because all of a sudden now you are, this is not a good thing, right? This is the way it is supposed to be, to keep these families together, and you don't want to do this. Now, the good news for this woman is that her husband legitimately died, so she can get remarried. There's other things like when a girl is raped by a man, and the Torah law is that the man must marry her. That is a different situation, because the girl that was raped, she would have never been able to have another husband, right? Because she was defiled by that man. And so there are a lot of commands when it comes down to these kind of things. Continuing on. This is the same guy. This is the label this guy's going to get. And in Israel, his name shall be called the house of him who had his sandal removed. That ain't a good thing, right? You could say a lot of derogatory things about people, but if you are him who had his sandal removed, you're a chump, right? You've done it. And the good thing is she was only able to hawk in his face. I thought when the sandal was going to come off, she was going to be able to slap him across the face with that sandal. But it's something different. But it's interesting, right? The sandal comes off, she spits in his face. 11. When men fight each other, a man with another, and the wife of one shall draw near to rescue her husband from the hand of the one attacking him, and shall put out her hand and seize him by the genitals, then you shall cut off her hand. Your eye does not pardon it. Okay, there's something to be said for a one-on-one fight in the eyes of Yahuwah, right? There's something to be said. Now, this is interesting because this is one of these things that this dude could be sitting there smoking you, right? You're on the ground. This guy's beating the snot out of you, and a wife comes out of nowhere and defends her husband. Now, is this a bad thing? Probably not for the dude getting his butt whipped, but in the eyes of our Creator, if you're going to do a one-on-one duke it out, you better be prepared for whatever is happening. The interesting stuff here, it doesn't say your buddy can't come by and jump in the fight and do a 2-on-1. It doesn't say anything like this. The rule is if the woman comes and grabs, and it also doesn't say the woman can't come up behind the guy and kick him straight up where it would stop this, right? This is about she seizes him by the genitals.
Or like take a baseball bat and just smack him over the
baseball
head.
bat over the head, a big tree trunk, something of the sort, right? So this is something that is different, and there must have been some fights.
Very specific.
Very specific. You're right. There must have been some action going down that we had this type of command for, that you literally have to define that, hey, when this happens. 13, you shall not have in your bag differing weights, a heavy and a light. Again, we've talked about this, right? Over and over and over, that our Creator doesn't want you to rip people off. You don't need to rip people off to become wealthy. You can do a honorable man's job and do a good thing. You don't have to rip people off. We live in the world of differing weights. We live in the retail world, right? We live in the world where they will tell you a Black Friday special that's the same price as everything else, and it's nothing is what it should be. 14, you shall not have in your house differing measures and a large and small. You shall have a perfect and right weight, a perfect and right measure, so that they prolong your days on the land which Yahuwah, your Elohim, is giving you. For all who do these, and all who do unrighteously, are an abomination to Yahuwah, your Elohim. Again, the Creator created all these people. He doesn't want his sons and daughters ripped off. 17, remember what Amalek did to you on the way you were coming out of Mitzrayim. How he met you on the way and attacked your back, all the feeble ones in your rear when you were tired and weary and did not revere Elohim. Now, this is interesting. This is interesting because this is what the little tiny hats over there in the other side of the world that are taking out everybody, this is what they are doing, right? This is what they quoted just the other day. They are killing off all these people over there because of what this scripture was. Now, if you understand what the scripture was, this had nothing to do with these little tiny fellas that are over there that are trying to take over the world in their Zionistic ways. What we are talking about right here is back in the day, right? This is not something of today that you can come in as a whole bunch of imposters and go, well, we're the chosen ones. Well, let's go take out Amalek. Amalek is not where he used to be. This is not your land anymore. This is the land of Yahuwah. This is the land when Yahuwah wants to give it back to the real people who are Yisrael, who are you and me, who are Torah keepers, that love Elohim Most High, love His Son, and that want this commandments and hate these other commandments. This land is for us. And when you read scriptures, all these people that are over there, according to what I see in scriptures, get annihilated. They're crushed. There's nothing left. The second Exodus, we're going to be cleaning bodies out of this place, right? We're going to have to be dragging bodies off this land. So the land is pure. That's what I read in scriptures. Continuing on, 19. Therefore it shall be, when Yahuwah your Elohim has given you rest from all your enemies all around, in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim has given you to possess as an inheritance, that you blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the Shamayim. Do not forget. And this is the crazy thing. It doesn't matter if it's the crazy Christians or the crazy Judaism people, right? When you take scriptures and twist the scriptures for what you want and declare war, number one, you better be Yah's chosen people before you start taking on this kind of stuff, because these people are not Yah's chosen people. Continuing on. All right, let's get into our next thing before I get banned off YouTube.
I'm surprised it's still alive.
I'm surprised the stream is still alive. This is how it is, man. They control the world.
All right, so in the last chapter,
We're in Yochanan, John 9, chapter 19, guys.
Chapter 19. And the last chapter, what's going on is we're getting towards the end of it all. Yehoshua is getting ready to die soon. In the last chapter, he went to the garden. He got delivered up by one of his disciples, which was what's his name? I can't remember.
Judas?
Yeah, Judas. Name just
Got Judas?
I was trying to think.
Yahuda.
Yeah, Yahuda. I was trying to go to the Hebrew name. My mind just blanked out.
Wow. All right.
I was getting his last name. Yehuda of Kirioth, and he just got delivered up by him, and now he got questioned by Herodias and by Pilate. And in the ending part, Pilate just asked if they wanted him, who they wanted to release, if they wanted Yehoshua or Barabbas, who was a killer, a thief, basically everything bad under the sun.
He said he was a Messiah too, Barabbas.
And they decided they wanted him free instead of Yehoshua.
Okay. Then therefore Pilatus took Yahushua and flogged. Okay, that may just seem like a very short sentence, but you would never forget this sentence. Therefore, Pilatus took you and flogged. This is not, remember when we were talking about 40 lashings and things of this nature? These Romans were lashing people with the cats of nine tails. We're talking about a whip that has metal and glass and rocks and thorns and thistles and every possible thing they could possibly do. And they beat you with it. This is a beating of death. A lot of people don't survive this kind of bleeding. When Messiah died, when he died early on the stake, and it wasn't early as far as, the pain and torture, but it was earlier, it was because they had flogged him. He was bled out, right? He was low on blood, he was low on strength, and he was already tortured prior to him ever making it to the stake. And the soldiers plaited a crown of thorns and placed it on his head. And they put a purple robe on him, mocking him, right? The purple is the color of royalty. And came to him and said, "Greetings, sovereign of the Yahudim." And they slapped him in the face. And Pilatus went outside again and said to them, "See, I am bringing him to you to let you know that I find no guilt in him." But these psychopaths, right? These psychopaths will just beat the snot out of you, right? They just beat him to a living pulp. And between verses 1 and 4, it was torture, a nightmare scenario that would have never felt like it ever ended. It was happening to Messiah. And it wasn't just like this happened and it's like, hey, I brought him out, right? There was an entire incident. There was a bunch of Romans. They beat the snot out of him, bled him out. He was very weak. He was very cut up, very cut up, just huge chart, probably 2-inch chunks of skin out of his back. It was a trash, bloody. He would have looked completely red. His back would have been just in shambles. It would have been all down his legs. His whole body would have had blood coming down there. Then they bring him out, right? And he goes, "Oh, by the way, I found no guilt in him, but we still beat him." So his point, Pilatus' hope, was that the people saw how bad Messiah was and decided, let's keep this guy alive, right? But these people, again, the psychopaths of the day, they're not good with it. And Yahushua came outside wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and Pilatus said to them, "See the man." So basically they reduce him to nothing, right? They reduce him to being mocked. He has his little robe, he has his crown of thorns, and then he's shown to all these people, "Look, what do you want to do?" So when the chief Kohen and officers saw him, they shouted, saying, "Impale, impale." Pilatus said to them, "You take him and impale him, for I find no guilt in him." The Yahudim answered him, "We have a law, and according to our law he ought to die, for he has made himself the bin of Elohim." Now, again, for all of us that are knowing the Torah, we don't have any such laws. What do you mean there's a law? What do you mean you're killing this man for a law? That's the problem. When you take the Torah, when you break Deuteronomy 4:2 and you add other laws to this, we don't have something that said if somebody says you're the son, you're the being of Elohim, that you should die. So what laws are they using? They're using the same laws that they use today to decide that they have to go kill Amalek. They're a bunch of Torah-breaking psychopaths. Continuing on. So when Pilatus heard this word, he was more afraid and went back into the palace and asked Yahushua, "Where are you from?" But Yahushua gave him no answer. And I will tell you that Yahushua, he was up all night. He didn't have any sleep. He was beat from the beginning. He's beat now. He's not going to want to talk. He's not going to be sitting there. He's doing the do. He's trying to make it through. Then Pilatus said to him, "Do you not speak to me? Do you not know that I possess authority to impale you and I possess authority to release you. And again, that's true, right? That is very true. But Messiah didn't want this to stop. He did, but he didn't want his Father's will to be broken. Yahushua answered, you would possess no authority against me if it were not given you from above. Because of this, he who delivered me to you has greater sin. From then on, Pilatus was seeking to release him, but the Yahudim shouted, saying, if you release this one, you are not Kaiser's friend. Everyone who makes himself a sovereign speaks against Kaiser. And again, these guys had, the Yahudim were too weak to actually do this themselves, right? They did all the dirt up to the point where they were supposed to kill Messiah, but they're like, oh, no. The thing about Pilatus, if you tell Caesar, that somebody else was saying they're king and Caesar had to come around, he might have killed Pilatus. So these people did everything possible to make sure the Messiah Yahushua died. Therefore, when Pilatus heard these words, he brought Yahushua out and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called pavement, but in Ivri, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Pesach and about the 6th hour. And he said to the Yahudim, see, you're sovereign. But they shouted, away, impale him. Pilatus said to them, shall I impale your sovereign? The chief Kohen answered, we have no sovereign except Kaiser. These are some, if you're looking at some killing words, Kohen right here should be killed, right? This guy literally says he has no king except for Kaiser. What about Yahuwah? What about the real king of the universe? What kind of words are these from this satanic individual that was murdering our Messiah? We have no king except Kaiser? And literally, they proved themselves that was true. At that time, then, he delivered him to them to be impaled. And they took Yahushua and led away. And bearing his stake, he went out to the so-called place of the skull, which is called in Ivri, Golgotha, whereas they impaled him, and 2 others with him, one on this side and one on the other side, and Yahushua in the middle. And Pilatus wrote on a title too, and put it on the stake, and it was written, Yahushua of Nazareth, the sovereign of the Yahudim. And them were fighting words, right? What Pilatus wrote here ticked everybody off. No, they're like, this isn't our sovereign, but he mocked the Yahudim that he put this on there, right? This wasn't really even mocking Messiah. This was mocking the Yahudim who delivered him up to this. Many of the Yahudim, therefore, read this title, for the place where Yahushua was impaled was near the city, and was written in Ivri, in Yammanite, in Roman, 3 different languages this was written in. So everybody knew what Pilatus was working on. So the chief Kohen of the Yahudim said to Pilatus, do not write the sovereign of the Yahudim. But he said, I am the sovereign of the Yahudim. Pilatus answered, what I have written, I have written. Then the soldiers, when they had impaled Yahushua, took his outer garments and made 4 parts, to each soldier a part, and the inner garment. But the inner garment was without a seam, woven from the top in one piece. So they said to each other, let us not tear it, but cast lots for it, whose it shall be, in order that the scripture might be filled, which says, they divided my garments among them. And for my clothing they cast lots. The soldiers therefore indeed did this. And by the stake of Yahushua stood his mother, and his mother's sister Miriam, the wife of Keliph, and Miriam from Magdala. So we have a lot of Miriams here, right? We have a lot of women supporting Messiah Yahushua, and you can imagine they're crushed, right? It's the same thing that somebody's dying in bed. You have everybody around them. Most of the people are in tears. And this is the end. These people were crushed, right? Their lives were completely destroyed that day. 26. Then Yahushua, seeing his mother and his Talmud, whom he loved, standing by, he said to his mother, woman, see your son. Then to the Talmud he said, see your mother. And from that hour, that Talmud took her to his own home. Now we're talking about John. John is this. This is the one who basically his mother was adopted to him. They were adopted together. They were put together as family by the words of Messiah. And Messiah was looking down from the stake and was seeing people crushed. Not only was he in the worst pain that you could even possibly come up with, but he was seeing the pain of those around him. And basically, imagine that, your heart just crushing. It's one thing to be crushed. It's another thing to see everyone around you that it's out of control. 27. Then to the Talmud he said, see your mother. And from that hour, the Talmud took her to his own home. After this, Yahushua, knowing that all had been accomplished in order that the scriptures might be accomplished, said, I thirst. A bowl of vinegar stood there, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, put it on hyssop, and held it to his mouth. Now, a lot of people on the stake, they were given this, right? This was it's a pain reliever. And this was something that if Messiah would have like sucked on this, and it would have tasted terrible, but it would have eased his pain as he was going from this life to the next life. So when Yahushua took the vinegar, he said, it has been accomplished. And bowing his head, he gave up his spirit. Now we know from the other scriptures that he did not suck on this hyssop. He did not take this. But it said when he took the vinegar, he said, it has been accomplished. And bowing his head, he gave up the spirit. So this event was like right before he died, right? Like moments before he died. Therefore, since it was the preparation that the body should not remain on the stake of the Shabbat, for that Shabbat was a high one, the Yahudim asked Pilatus to have their legs broken and be taken away. Now, this is something a lot of people get confused. They don't understand this. You have the Christian religion, and you will say, because Jesus died, we can have Sunday as our Shabbat. That's the Lord's day, right? They will clearly tell you that without ever stuttering, without ever saying it. And it's crazy because we're into a Passover time. And for those of us who study Torah and knows Torah, you have the Passover and you also have a high Shabbat. You have basically two Sabbaths right in a day. You have the Sabbath, that is the Sabbath day. And then based upon this calendar, their high Shabbat was coming on of this. And so there's a rules and regulations for sunset. When the sun sets, I mean, you can't have people on the stake. It's based upon the actual Torah. 32. Therefore the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first and of the other who was impaled with him. But when they came to Yahushua and saw he was already dead, they did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and instantly blood and water came out. Now, I'm no doctor. I'm not a mortician. I don't know any of this. I don't know exactly why this is the way it is. I don't know if a normal person who was on a stake or something of the sort would have blood and water coming out. I don't know if there was something symbolic here. I don't know about this other than this was prophecy being fulfilled. And look that up for me, Eli, as you're going there. 35. And he who has seen has witnessed, and his witness is true. And he knows that he is speaking the truth in order that you might believe. For this took place in order for the scriptures to be filled. Not one of his bones shall be broken. And again, another scripture says, they shall look on him whom they pierced. And after this, Yosef of Ramathaim, being a Talmud of Yahushua, but secretly, for fear of the Yahudim, asked Pilatus that he might take the body of Yahushua. And Pilatus gave permission. Therefore, he came and took the body of Yahushua. Things we should understand right here is that these the folks, the religious sector of this time, were so wild and so crazy that everybody was scared to death of them. That's why these people had such a success at basically kidnapping the Son of the Most High and killing him, torturing him and murdering him. Eli, what do you got?
So it can be like one of two things. Like the physical explanation is correct when someone dies from crucifixion. Fluid
When somebody what?
From crucifixion.
Crucifixion.
When someone dies from that, fluid can build up around the lungs and heart. And when the spear pierces side, clear fluid, which looks like water, not 100% water, like it could just be fluid, does come out with blood, and that has happened when crucifixion happens. Or it could be proof that he truly died. Many theologians believe it was recorded to prove that Yahushua really died, not expanded or survived for the crucifixion. This became important later when some groups claimed he never actually died.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Eli. So, guys, it looks like a part of crucifixion is that that is what happened. So in the event that somebody was playing dead and they were trying to do whatever, when you get that spear entered into you, you're not going to be playing dead, right? You're not going to just take that one. And so there you go, a little bit of something everywhere here on this channel. Continuing on. And Nicodemus, who at first came to Yahushua by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 litras. Then they took the body of Yahushua and bound it in linen wrappings with the spices, as was the habit of the Yahudim for burial. And at the place where he was impaled, there was a garden, and in the garden a fresh tomb in which no one had yet been laid. Then because of the preparation of the Yahudim, They laid Yahushua because the tomb was near. Now, that sums us up, right? This is I hate to say it, but these are the hardest parts of Scripture that I read. It's always the crucifixion. I don't mind reading all of Scriptures. It comes in the Besorah when the events of the Besorah come, and we hear of the torture, of the beatings, of the way that Messiah was treated. It's very, very hard to read. It's very hard to do. And, this is part of the gift that our Messiah gave us, is that he gave us not just his life, but he gave us his life in a very violent fashion. It wasn't simply exiting from life to death. It was exiting from life to death in a 24-hour period that was absolutely horrific, that none of us would ever say, okay, let's do this. I volunteer for this. This is great. Let me save humanity at the expense of my life. I don't know so much as any one of us would say, okay, let me die in such a way to save humanity. Maybe. I don't think that I would. If it was my family, yeah, sure, no problem. But it's like, if I just want to save humanity and have to go through this, no thanks. I don't think so. So that's the gift that our Creator, as Son, has bestowed upon us. It's the gift that our Creator has bestowed upon us. So with that, everybody, let us read. Let's bless our brothers and sisters. Eli, why don't you get into that? Hold on real quick, guys. Sorry.
Press play.
Yeah, I press play. Let me get into this. We're going to do a blessing real quick, and then we will get into the final piece of this.
All right. Yahuwah block you and guard you. You will make his face shine upon you and shall favor you. You will lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Unless they shall put my name on the children of Israel, I myself shall block them.
All right, guys, we love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our little tribe here. This is out of the book of Khalidi.
Hear, obey, love his name. Yahuwah's will is still the same. A man asked in the street that day, what does Elohim require my way? Yahushua answered clear with Moshe's words for all to hear. Honor Yah, walk his path, love him more than pleasure's wrath. Serve with heart and soul as one. Keep the Torah till it's done. Hear my people, Moshe cried. Walk in truth, don't turn aside. Honor Yahweh, love his way. Keep his words night and day. Honor Yah, walk his path. Love him more than pleasure's wrath. Serve with heart and soul as one. Keep the Torah till it's done. Honor Yah, walk his path. Love him more than pleasure's wrath. Serve with heart and soul as one. Keep the Torah till it's done. Not just lips, but living fire. Not just rules, but deep desire. A heart that serves, a soul that stays. That's how we walk Yahuwah's ways. Honor Yah, walk his path. Love him more than pleasure's wrath. Serve with heart and soul as one. Keep the Torah till it's done. So I will listen, I will do. I will love with rule and true. Yahuwah, seal me in your word. Let my life be rightly heard. Honor Yah, walk his path. Love him more than pleasure's wrath. Serve with heart and soul as one. Keep the Torah till it's done. destruction, gain insight. Torah words bring life and light. Guard your heart above all else. Truth within is living well. Hold the path, don't turn aside. Torah truth is our guide. Light grows brighter every day. Walk in Yahuwah's way. Way of wicked fades tonight. They can't see what makes them fight, but righteous steps grow clear and strong. Dawn breaks forth as we walk long. Hold the path, don't turn aside. Torah truth is our guide. Light grows brighter every day. Walk in Yahuwah's way. Remove false paths, clear your feet. Make your walk straight, sure, complete. Do not drift or bend with fear. Yah's commands keep vision clear. Hold the path, don't turn aside. Torah truth is our guide. Light grows brighter every day. Walking Yahuwah's way. Children choose what leads to life. Not the crowd, not empty hype. Righteous path is safe and bright. Torah truth, our daily sight. Hold the path, don't turn aside. Torah truth is our guide. Light grows brighter every day. Walking Yahweh's way. Hey, 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 hold the path, don't turn aside. Torah truth is our guide. Light grows brighter every day. Walking Yahuwah's way. Hold the path, don't turn aside. Torah truth is our guide. Light grows brighter every day. Walking
All right, final song, everybody.
Even when I couldn't see him, Yahuwah was near. I walk through valleys carved in dread, with heavy thoughts inside my head. I feared the dark would swallow me, but Yahuwah walked silently. Yahuwah, you are my shepherd, cut ocean strong and true. Yahushua, you are my shelter, your shalom pulls me through. A wolfish whisper chased my mind. I thought I'd fall behind. A shadow moved beside my feet, not threat, but mercy soft and sweet. And I realized with holy awe, His presence was my greatest law. Yahuwah, You are my shepherd, kadosh and strong and true. Yahuwah, You are my shelter, Your shalom pulls me through. Now when the night returns again, I will not bow to fear or men, for in my darkest place I know Yahuwah will never go. Yahuwah, You are my shepherd, kadosh and strong and true. Yahushua, You are my shelter, Your shalom pulls me through.
All right, beautiful family. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May the light of Yahuwah forever be on you. May the beautiful light of the Torah forever be in your lives and be in every last bit of your aspect of your world. And may we all join each other in the kingdom to come as obedient, cheerful people who love Yah's ways and love the kingdom